Hey everybody, Katie Sutton here, intuitive channel and founder of Zen Within Academy and the New Earth Now School with your May 2025 energy update. I can't believe we're already in May. I've got some important themes I want to share with you this month, but before we even get into that, I just want to say that coming off of the month of April, it feels like we had a bit of a lull and a bit of an integration point, and that May is going to bring in some very different energy. I'm actually really excited for some of these themes that are coming in because I feel like some of you have been waiting on some of this energy so that you can move some things forward in your life. So let's dive into this month's themes. The first one is clearing negative self-talk. This one is very loud. As I've been working with clients, it has just been made increasingly clear to me that the way that we are speaking to ourselves and the way that we are treating ourselves internally has really got to shift if we are going to continue to shift in frequency and create change on this planet. I think so many of us have internalized voices that are from other people or other places in our life or other experiences of trauma in our life, and we've gotten so used to those negative self-talk loops that we actually don't even notice them so much anymore. We're going to have a greater awareness in our mental body space this month of the places where we are being really hard on ourselves. And with that awareness, we hope that there will be this idea of a pause when you go into those stories and you don't need to continue to repeat them. So I think maybe some of you will have that awareness come in, and then there will be this ability this month that starts to come online for you to have a greater state of self-compassion for yourself. We did a lot of heart chakra work in the month of April, and that was on the heels of some very intense closing out of cycles in the eclipse portals in March. And there was this feeling as we moved through the end of April of needing to rest, needing to integrate, needing to go inward and allow some things to land. And I think as that happens, as we get into May, it's going to allow these places where we've just not been treating ourselves very well with compassion to start to come to the surface so that we can clear. In sessions with clients, and it comes up a lot in workshops and healing circles, that if we can't be compassionate with ourselves and we can't take time to take care of us and release these negative self-talk patterns, it's very difficult for us to expand compassion for those around us. Everything begins as an inside job when we're trying to be more spiritually aligned beings in the world. It doesn't really matter if you are the nicest person ever. If you are speaking unkindly to yourself and you are shaming yourself consistently, you're not going to be able to bring your light to the world. So really pay attention this month to those negative self-talk energies and think about where they're coming from. Try to tune in and see if that voice reminds you of somebody else from your past, and really be in the place of opening to letting that go. This would be a great month to do some work with mantra, to do some work with positive affirmations, to do some work with self-love exercises so that you're creating a foundation in your experience, in your frequency field, so that these negative self-talk patterns can just naturally start to unwind themselves as we go through the month of May. All right, so that's our first theme of the month. Let's go into theme number 2, which is expanding your spectrum of love. So we talked about self-love in the first theme, but what I feel that we're going to be working on this month is just changing the way that we look at love as a frequency on this planet. The guides have been talking with me a lot about the understanding that love isn't just a single frequency, just like any other emotion. There's a spectrum of the way that we can experience it. And as we moved through April and we worked on opening our heart, it was almost like these beautiful codes around love just started to pour in to the planet. And I know if you look at what's happening at the top of the house and you look at what's happening on the world stage, you may be like, oh my gosh, we are leaving love behind. We are so far from love. I think that one of the things that happens when we have such an intense shadow being brought center stage in front of us at the leadership level in our planet, that we start to really look at that shadow inside and look at how we're treating one another and look at how we're treating ourselves. And then we start to bring in energies that counteract or counterbalance that frequency. The more we go into density and the more density comes to the surface, the higher the light is that we start to bring in. This month, it feels specific to love. If you are someone who has struggled with receiving love, with giving love, with letting down your guard in your heart space, letting down those walls, you probably started doing some heart work last month, and that's going to allow this new experience of love to start to come online. And it could be really subtle for some of you. You could just start to get maybe more validation back in certain places in your life, or more places where people are just even vocalizing that they appreciate and love you. I think it could be very subtle at first for some of you this month, but as you notice that validation energy coming in, as you start to receive this love reflected back to you in some way, really take note of it so that you can start to expand that frequency in your field and actually go looking for that frequency in the world. It's very easy to just focus on the negative and focus on the places where things are not going well and people are not loving one another. I think that that's a self-preservation kind of act within us that says, okay, we need to pay attention to where things aren't working so that we can solve it. But for a lot of you that watch these videos, you've been on your path for a long time. You have been doing your healing work. You've been in your spiritual process for many lifetimes. You're an old soul. And I think that it's time that we start leading through this frequency of love on the planet, through this frequency of support for one another, and that we are emanating that as best as we can, not only for ourselves, but for those around us, so that we can start to activate these new frequencies here and we can start to pull out of some of this shadow and this negativity. And if you can't get to that place with humanity right now, if you're really in a place of despondency or you're really just feeling like you can't bring that love and compassion, then go out into nature, right? Get really connected to Mama Earth. Sit down and, if you need to, hug a tree and get connected to this frequency of love through animals, through plants, through places where maybe it's held more unconditionally that you can more easily receive. So try to tune in this month to the frequency band of love as it exists in our universe already, including your connection with your guides, with your team, with Source, and start to welcome that in. And imagine bringing that down into every cell in your body and letting it begin to shift some things from inside out. And when we get to the fourth theme that we'll have as an overarching theme for the month that we'll focus on primarily in the healing circle, even though we'll touch on all of these, you'll see why in just a moment. All right, so that's theme number 2, expanding your spectrum, your understanding of love. All right, let's talk about theme number 3. I'm very excited about this one. The way it's been showing up in sessions with clients has been very sweet and very exciting. So let's talk about it. The third theme is activating the brave soul within. We have a lot of go energy right now. We have a lot of planets that have moved direct. We have a lot of shadow periods that ended after eclipses and retrogrades. We've got a kind of supportive, fiery new energy starting to come in this month of May. Some of you might have been visioning some things for quite some time and wanting to move some things ahead, but haven't really had the oomph or the feeling of courage that you needed to actually take the next step. I think May might be a time for some of you to actually move the needle forward and be very brave and take some chances on some things that you really care about and that you really want to do in the world. So I'm looking at you, spiritual entrepreneurs, business owners, those that are creatives that want to get your work into the world, those of you that want to write a book. This is a month to start to allow some of those visions to begin to physicalize in your experience. And in order to do that, we've really got to activate bravery. So interestingly, one of the things that's been showing up in a lot of my sessions is the shift point where we go from anger to courage, or we go from rage to courage on the emotional spectrum. And that line from where we're angry about something, or we're frustrated about something, or we're frustrated with ourselves because we don't like what's happening in our life, to shifting that to courage. Courage is very thin. It's thinner than you would realize. And so because we went through this big heart opening in April and we have these new codes around self-love and compassion starting to come in, that we're creating a field of energy within our beings that's going to allow us to shift out of that rageful, angry place and move into courage. And when I think of bravery, I think of open-hearted stability. And last month we worked on opening the heart, but now we're bringing in this beautifully supportive divine masculine energy that's going to hold a container for this vulnerable and open heart so that we can walk through the world with that heart open to our own truth and our own desires in a really brave way. So I do feel like this third theme of activating the brave soul within is about bringing in some new support in our divine masculine space. And as I've been seeing that in session with clients, we're bringing in this beautiful divine masculine guardian energy that is not there to tell it what to do, to protect in a fixing way, but just to hold space for these parts that are coming online. So if you've got some aspects of self that have been hiding in the background or are a little tender or a little vulnerable that you've been afraid to bring out into the light, May might be the month where you do something brave, where you walk across that threshold and you put yourself out there in a new way. It's actually going to show up for me because I'm going to teach my first workshop on money, which I have been so resistant to do. I'll talk about that at the end of this video. It's going to come on May 20th, so you might want to mark your calendar for that. But it's a way that I can activate into this bravery energy and do something that scares me a little bit. This brave soul within is already living inside of you. There's also some ancestral energy attached to this where I think you all are going to be tapping into some light codes where your ancestors that came before you have done some really amazing things, some really brave things in the face of major challenges. I think you're going to tap into some of that strength this month. And this is a great month to really say yes to the thing that scares you. Activate that brave soul within. All right. That's the third theme. And let's move into the fourth theme. As I said, we'll cover all of these in Healing Circle. We'll get a healing around all of these. That's going to be the 14th of May at 7 p.m. Eastern if you'd like to join. But this fourth theme, which is expressing your divine light, is the one that is like the overarching theme of the month that we're going to pull everything under as we work with it. This one is quite interesting. The way it's been coming in energetically as I've been working in my own meditation and working with my clients is that we've got some shifts happening in our causal chakra, which exists at the back of our crown. It's the energy center that you often see depicted when you see imagery of Mother Mary and she's got that golden halo behind her. What that really is her divine light expressing out into that depiction of her into the world through that causal chakra. This is the energy center of spirit to spirit communication where we're connecting directly in with our spirit, with our higher self, with our teams, and we're getting direct downloads of how our light can best be expressed in the world, and that's coming into that energy center. It also has been showing up as a lot of shifts in the connection from the causal through the throat chakra into the heart and down into the lower chakras. So we're getting a full channel opening that is bypassing the thinking mind a little bit, which is why I think we're doing some clearing around negative self-talk so that we can get out of that mental body space and come more into this direct connection to higher self and spirit. And as we do this, what's going to happen is the way that your divine light, your true soul essence is meant to express in the world is going to expand as we do this work in the chakra system. So when you come to Healing Circle, I'm going to teach you more about this energy center that most people don't know a lot about. We're going to do some practice work on activating it. And I'm also going to give you some tips and tricks about working with your crown chakra so that you can change how you are expressing in the world. So this is going to encompass a lot of really important spiritual teachings in this month's Healing Circle. And it's really going to help you as you work with expressing your divine light, as you're trying to find your unique soul path, trying to find your unique voice in the world to really expand that. And that's not just with purpose-driven work. This is within relationship. This is within your family. This is just within your connection to those around you and you just being your true self. So I'm excited because this feels really important. And some of the trauma that I see that's coming up to be healed that will enable the expression of this divine light energy more clearly is healing the wounds of the unseen parts of you. So what I've been finding in session with folks is this theme has started to pepper in a little bit, and it's been coming in for me in my meditation practice, is that there are parts of us that have just always gone unseen. Maybe there was a wound of neglect in our childhood. Maybe we were bullied. Maybe there were just parts of our personality that felt too soft or too vulnerable, and we've just hidden them in the background, and we ourselves haven't seen them, but they also haven't come out into the light of day to be a part of our expression in the world that people can appreciate. And because there are wounds around these parts, like I said, maybe they've been bullied, maybe they've been traumatized, there's a healing that needs to happen first where they come out of that state of vulnerability into a more healed state of being so that more of our light can come online. It's almost like that light is just kind of hiding in a closet, and we're going to open the door and let that light come out so that it can be seen. And this can be gifts, like spiritual gifts, clairvoyance, clairaudience. It could be something like that. It could be an ability that's a very 3D ability that you don't talk about a lot. It could be a creative path that you want to follow. There are so many ways that I think that this can come online this month. And what is exciting about it is it's bringing in the energy of curiosity and inspiration as well. So if you've been feeling really uninspired, I think this theme of expressing your divine light might really activate something in you so you feel like you've got a path forward and you want to move out into the world and bring some inspired creations out into the world. This also applies to relationships where if you've been hiding a part of yourself or that part has been tucked in the back corner and it's not receiving love in that relational dynamic, you've got to love it first and bring it forward and be vulnerable and say, hey, this is a part of me and I want this part of me to be included in this relationship too. So it might change some relational dynamics as well. We're still integrating all of that Venus retrograde energy that ended kind of beginning of April, end of March timeframe. So we've still got some changes happening in a lot of our relationships and how we're viewed in the world and how we're viewing ourselves. And if you combine this theme of expressing your divine light, like bringing this pure light essence forward with the activating the brave soul within, where we've got that guardian energy coming in, it's really powerful. There's a lot of courage. There's a lot of deep personal power that is going to come online from this theme this month. And I'm excited because I think we need it. I think if we're going to keep making changes on this planet and keep bringing our full selves and not get wrapped up into the chaos of what's going on around us, we all need to bring our brave, powerful selves forward. So there's also probably going to be a shift for you all in your solar plexus this month too. That might be what we work on in June as we integrate this light that's coming in this causal chakra, because it's going to be expanded. And some of you might have a little trouble processing these new downloads this month. So we're really going to work on calibrating that in our energy fields in the healing circle on the 14th. Okay. So negative self-talk, letting go of that, getting out of that mental body space, that negative space, expanding your spectrum of love, including love for self, activating that brave soul within, bringing this guardian energy in and expressing your divine light and healing the wounds of those unseen parts. That's what we're focused on in the month of May. That's what we'll cover in our healing circle. We'll bring in codes and information and teachings for you on that so that you can best get the energies this month, the frequencies this month. And of course, we'll do it in supportive community where we are holding a sacred container together, which makes everything easier. So that's what's happening in May. I did mention my brave thing this month is to teach a workshop around our money stories. I think it's going to be called Healing Your Money Story, just to keep it simple. I've already started getting the teachings. Actually, the guides have wanted me to teach this workshop every year for the last 3 years, and I have declined every time. And I normally decline teaching this workshop because I feel like money and manifestation can be so trite and so overdone in the spiritual community, and I don't like 90 to 99% of the teachings that I see out there about money, and I didn't want to add to the noise. But the things that the guides are telling me and the way that these teachings are coming in and the very practical nature of working with money energy without all of the triggers, without all of the negativity, without all the stickiness that comes with it. It's just so loud I can't say no to it this time. So we're going to be working on this on May 20th. around 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to work on our money story. We're going to be changing the narrative around rest and productivity. We're going to be clearing shame around money. We're going to be working on lineage wounds and programs around money. We're going to be clearing poverty vows and guilt from other lifetimes. And then I'm going to be activating wealth codes. They're going to be practical energies that are going to come in for you all as teaching so that you can start to relate to money differently. So if you have resistance around money, if you have stuff going on around money, which I think we all do based on what's going on in our collective consciousness right now, just around how much everything costs and taking care of ourselves and the survival stuff that comes up with that, this is a good workshop for you. So stay tuned for more details around that. It's not going to be live with this video, but check out my video that I'll release about this. I'll release a little teaser and another link with that, and in my newsletter. Just keep an eye out for this workshop. I don't know if I'll ever teach it again because, like I said, they've asked me to teach it so many times, but now is the time for me to bring it through, it seems. So I'm excited about that. Do have a couple of spaces left to go with us to Peru at the end of July. If you've been looking at that trip, now is the time to say yes, because we're going to close it out. We got to get our reservations completed for some of the different places we're going. And speaking of guardian energy and divine masculine, that's what we're working on in that trip. It's really important that we start to activate into that energy and bring that forward for ourselves as individuals and as a collective. And that's what we're going to be focused on in our connection in Peru, along with visiting some of the most beautiful and amazing places you'll ever see with amazing people who feel like family. So that's what's happening with us at the end of July. I'll do my best to keep getting videos out to you. You might have noticed I've slowed down on my content creation and I'm doing more in my healing circle, more in my classes. The guides are just trying to shift some things of how I'm using my time because I have a lot of teachings I need to bring through and get them out to the world. And I got a lot of sessions that I'm doing. Bookmark this page, subscribe to this page, to the YouTube channel so you don't miss anything when I put it out. I am doing a podcast with my friend Debbie, and the recent episode that we just released is my personal favorite that we've done on healing the father wound. Check out the links below this video for more information on what's coming up, including that healing circle where we will be covering all of these themes. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your month, and I'll see you soon.